지금 다운로드 받으세요.
Welcome everybody to another great day of Pro League here on a very nice Saturday evening. I am Valdez. With me is Wolf. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing great. I'm so glad to be here. It's been a little while for me to cast Pro League, and we're back on the main stage, which makes me really happy. And both of today's matches really could go either way. We're starting things off, of course, with CJ versus MVP, and it should be a good one. Might even go to the ace match.
Yeah, there's definitely a big possibility of that. MVP has been trying desperately to do a bit better here, but they are going up against CJ. And this first match specifically, herO up against Forte, is going to be an interesting one. herO did just get knocked out of the SSL, did not get through his group there.
Yeah, and it was a bit of a surprising result for everybody involved, but I do still feel herO is the better player when it comes to this PvT matchup.
Oh, yeah.
There's been a lot of games, though, for Forte to study, especially in PvT. It was the matchup we saw, basically the second most next to PvP in that group. So just something to keep in mind.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting. We'll see if he has an answer to that very heavy gateway style off of 3 bases. The map is going to be Frost, so it's going to be a bit of a bigger one. And I think that does favor herO. Generally, with that rush, it doesn't really matter how far away you are because you got Blink Stalkers, Adepts, very mobile, and the Warp Prism to warp in right outside the base.
Yeah.
And, Maru's been trying some stuff, but we'll see if Forte has an answer tonight.
I'm really curious to see how MC will perform as well, because MC is actually, the player that did qualify for Kodas, did win his first Pro League match. So he's actually on a bit of a tear. A lot of people didn't expect him to do so well because he actually had retired like twice, and then he was streaming only, and now he's back full-time as a pro gamer.
Oh.
I don't know what happened there, but you can see our points up above us.
Yeah. Oh. Now we're in the game. You guys are getting to see everything behind the scenes here. Okay, there we go.
There we go.
KT Rolster on top, 3-0. Jin Green Wings, though, is a game behind. I fully expect them to win their match tomorrow.
Yeah, last round was, for me, all about Jin, but this round, for me, is all about SKT. Why are they doing so poorly? They've only played a few games, but in this beginning of the season, but they're not doing very well. They did poorly last round as well. Where is the best team in the world? Why are they sitting below the cutoff point for playoffs?
Well, a couple of the reasons here is that Su and Dark are their most winning players, but Zergs are just not doing that well. And Dark actually having a lot of trouble losing 2 of his games. He played the first game against Alive and the second one against Patience, I believe, and lost them both, which is just not very Dark-like. He's sitting at 9-3, but he was 9-1 before that day, so kind of weird to see.
If you look at the results of all of the MVP Chicken Maru players, except Forte, they are kind of on the rise, and I think that's the big story here. CJ needs 2 wins, and they do have a solid lineup here, and if MC could take a win, I think that's going to be their best opportunity, but I don't know if he could do it. If MC is able to defeat Gumiho, then I think they have a good chance, but otherwise, I think this is actually looking like an MVP match.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. We were talking about the predictions, and they're kind of all over the place. People not really agreeing. It's definitely a hard day to predict here. And I feel like the reason for that is that these teams are all very evenly matched. I mean, CJ up against MVP. CJ hasn't been doing that well. Maybe last year, if you look at it, CJ's the heavy favorite, but not so much today. I mean, there's definitely a chance for MVP to come back here. And even the second one, Samsung versus Afrika, is very even as well.
Yeah, definitely true. I want to mention that the only player actually in the top list here for MVP is Gumiho, sitting at number 9. So he's actually broken, and it is pretty rare to see an MVP player actually in the winners ranking. herO is at the top, but he has not been performing well, and that's just really indicative of, I think, where herO is as a player right now. His loss in Star League, his most recent losses in Pro League as well. He was way up there, and he still is number 1 because he has 14 wins, but now he's 14-5.
Well, both him and Maru are having weird years here, just to be totally frank. Like, Maru, he didn't get through that group either. Actually, Super in Reality got in over herO and Maru, which is just not something we expected. We had 3 clear winners in our minds, which was Zest, Maru, herO, and it didn't really turn out that way, so it was really kind of strange. But at the same time, both these players are doing very well here in Pro League.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, notice that Forte, he has not won a single game this season. He's sitting at 0-5, and he hasn't played this matchup yet. But he does have a lot of games to study for herO. There is the potential for an upset here. I don't think so. I don't think it's going to happen. herO is just a different class of player, but it is possible. But it's a 7-0.
Look at that. Valdez on top. Valdez rules the world.
I'm tied with Daehyun in second place. I'll take that.
I mean, you guys are only one prediction behind me, realistically, so things could change tonight, but I'll enjoy my victory for now. But this is going to be a fun one. We'll see if Forte can get the upset here in his first win, or is herO going to get his 100th win of Pro League here on Frost. Up here in the top right, in the yellow for CJ Entis, it is herO.
And to the bottom right, in teal, the MVP Terran, 0-5 this season, it's Forte. See if he can get his first win. That's actually the story. You mentioned it just before we went into the game. It's herO's 100th win, and it's also Kanata's birthday, by the way, so that's what the sign is about.
29.
But if herO wins, it's his 100th win. And for Forte, it's his first win this season and one of his first wins in his career. So, I mean, this is a Titan, a master of Pro League, someone who played Pro League in Brood War versus someone who's very new to the scene and has had very limited success.
Yeah, and especially nowadays that Protoss has kind of figured out this style with the gateways where you just get ultra aggressive, but at the same time you've got a third base behind it, and it's been very hard for the Korean Terrans to deal with so far. And that's the other story here, you know, where Forte has seen a lot. herO played a ton of PVTs against both Maru and Reality on his day there at the SSL Challenge matches of Group D, but he had some pretty good success. I think he lost a couple of those games, but the story is that Forte just has a lot to study. And is he going to have an answer tonight here on Frost?
Yeah, that's the big question. herO does heavily commit to this probe harass, by the way, which is something we saw him do in that SSL group as well. Something I do like to see a lot. Kind of fell out of the meta a little bit because people were just wanting something to probe right back. But he's actually really harassing and taxing the multitasking of Forte, as well as like trying to pull his SCVs off to you know, limit his mining. May have stayed a bit too long here, in fact, though. And down it goes.
There it goes. Pretty unfortunate. He doesn't really get too much scouting information. Just sees the one Marine and the reactor coming down. Pretty standard stuff. And Forte is going for double gas, but he's not mining all of it. So it looks like he wants to get a little bit aggressive with the double gas. I think he has 2 in each gas. And it did make that very fast factory. So wouldn't be surprised to see a very fast drop here, or just some sort of aggression coming out of Forte.
Yep, there's the immediate starport coming down right as soon as that factory is finished. He starts a Hellion as well. He's actually Marine scouting here, which is another rarity. Looks like he was maybe hoping to run into a probe and kill it. I was building the pylon outside the Nexus, something like that. Would have also scouted if the Mothership Core was, you know, taking a path down there if it came at that timing. But now he knows everything that's going on. It's just a normal Nexus, not a fast, you know, Mothership Core or anything like that. I suppose the Mothership Core might have just missed him if it was going around the right side. Now this is the more normal time for the Mothership Core to go across and scout, and that's where he might have that Marine position for it. Looks like actually I'm just thinking too deep into this. He's not going to be denying that, at least not for the time being.
And we got a pretty interesting build, too, from Forte. He's going Hellions, actually, into what looks like probably a Marine drop and Hellions at the front. We see Maru do this a lot in TVP. And it's just a nice little build to you know, be very aggressive before you even make that second command center and try to do a lot of damage.
Well, he's going to get fully scouted here because he did not deny the Mothership, so hero's going to get extra vision. And he's just going to come into here. Okay, it's a Hellion variation. The Hellion variation can do more consistent damage, and you can actually save them a lot easier than the Widowmine. The Widowmine is kind of like, it can do damage, but it's basically whether your opponent messes up, not whether you play well with the Widowmine, I feel. So I like this style more. And the Hellions obviously get across the map very quickly.
And herO has to delay here as much as possible for that Mothership Core. He got the Scout, but it's not back at home, and he's going to need that overcharge here to try to defend. Although Forte is being a bit timid, he actually waited a little bit too long here, and the Marines are going to drop out into the main, but the Mothership Core is back and ready to defend.
Yep, it's going to pull the Hellions, or pull the probes away from the Hellions immediately. One Stalker will go down, but at the cost of, you know, all of these units being killed by Fort Forte.
Yeah.
He gets 2 probes in total. The Marines escape, but a big commitment to this level of harass that found really no damage. And wow, he's even rallied his Liberator here. He wants to commit to the aggression.
Yeah, he's going one base. This is Forte trying to do a very weird build to try to catch him off guard and, you know, try to get ahead here against a better player overall. And so far, it just hasn't been working. herO's defense has been on point.
Yep, look at this pylon placement here in the main. This isn't going to do anything if the Mothership Core reacts correctly. That's a lot of Marines, though. And look, he already gets 1 Zealot. The Stalkers are out of position as well, so that Liberator at the back should find some damage here. He's not in range of most of the probes.
Actually, really nice pull there by herO. He doesn't pull all the probes, but he pulls the ones that are in range of the Liberator, so he only loses 2. And now he's going to come over here and kill that Liberator.
Yeah, and this Cyclone push on the pylon is something we have seen in other regions. It's not as popular in Korea, but I do like this choice a lot. Now that that pylon's down, he can push a little bit closer. See, herO replaces this because he knows that it's really important for him to actually keep that, you know, extra blunt force, like pylon gun, you know, at the front to actually keep this Terran army away from his base. So he can keep mining off 2 bases to make the economy to have enough units to stop this attack.
Yeah, and I like how slow herO's taking it. Oh, wow. He's actually going to push forward, kill that Cyclone, and he loses a Stalker for it, but now there's a tank.
Yeah,
so
the tank is like the better version of the Cyclone. It doesn't have to be in range like that to fire, and the Liberator is going to move up as well. This is like an old school 1-1-1 type push that we're seeing here, and herO is taking a bit of damage at the front, but I feel like if Forte can't get more done quickly here, then this is going to start to fail. But look, he's moving up.
Yeah, and he's actually supply blocked herO here. herO hasn't been making enough pylons. Now he's 72 of 70, but he's slowly building up a force. I like that he's not overreacting. You know, he's taking some damage, but he's not taking critical damage yet. And he's going to get a big enough army to a point where he can finally engage this.
Well, another thing to keep in mind is the Dark Shrine's about to finish, and DTs will one-shot these Marines. He did just use 1 scan, and the Mothership is taking some damage. He needs to pull that back. I'm actually getting stressed here for herO. He's going to lose this Nexus, and he better hope that Forte doesn't have scans when the DTs come out. 2 of them just warped in.
Oh,
and here
boy.
comes 1.
Well, this is doing a lot more damage than I expected. Very nice builds here from herO, or rather from Forte, and he's actually going to be pushed back by those DTs. He doesn't want to overstay his welcome. He's already killed the entire Nexus and all those pylons, so he's done a nice bit of damage.
You know, I was thinking he was really going to try to end the game off this because he doesn't have stem and combat shields, but with the DTs out here and with no scan initially, he just had to let this go. It's not like he could just kind of run around the DTs for a little while and then back off, but now he's got 2 bases to 1. And he can transition. He just finished a tech lab on his barracks, so he can start that stem. He needs to, though, because you know, he's going to find himself tech-wise in big trouble. In a big trouble, Valdez.
In a big trouble.
And in fact, herO is counterattacking here. He's getting Blink, and he's going to try to force something to happen here. Don't forget, he still has that Dark Shrine tech to pull Forte into 2 different directions.
Yeah, he's already forced 1 scan, and that's actually a Stalker in the Warp Prism. So I think he's just trying to bring these units out of position and then maybe go for it, but 1 Stalker not going to do all too much here in the main.
Yeah, it brings all the units out of the position, but there's still tanks down there. I don't think herO could commit to this. It's actually really cool. Forte is playing this so well. He even sees the DT and lifts his tanks up. He's like, yeah, I'm not even going to scan for you. I have a turret back here. I'll land these as soon as the DT walks away. Very well played. I'm pretty impressed. I like moves like this. I like builds like this.
Yeah, Forte came with a build for a best of 1 to take out a better player, right? Overall, a guy who's got more results, but and it worked. And herO didn't seem to really have an answer, rather than just, you know, take a bunch of damage and kind of just let it happen. So herO, I'm sure he's confident to say, okay, I'm behind now, but I'm willing to go into the later game. I think I can definitely play a game and win this out if I take it longer. So he doesn't overcommit to an attack or anything crazy like that. He just remakes his Nexus. He's got a Warp Prism out here for some harass. and he'll just try to defend from here.
Yeah, I think he does need to use that Prism, though. That's going to be the crux of his success in this game if he does actually survive, because Stim is about to finish combat shields with it and +1 with this crazy powerful Terran army here. And he also has units at home, and he's rallying out tanks, so he should be able to defend anything that comes his way. Well, he needs to get everything ready.
We're
have units, actually. I was pretty sure he did. Okay, he does have a tank and a few Marines. He needs to rally the rest of his units out and defend here. And Stim is still not done.
herO is committing to this. All of his army is not at home. It's actually going around, so we're going to have a bit of a base trade situation.
I think this goes in Forte's favor, though. He's a Terran. He can lift his buildings, and he's rallying out Marines that now have Stim. Combat shield's about to finish. He holds this off. The Nexus is dead at home, and I think this was kind of herO's last-ditch, last attempt to win the game, but it's over now. He's lost it.
Whoa, this is a really strange game, right? herO on the brink of getting win number 100. And he's in some dire straits here against Forte, a player none of us expected to take this game.
Did he cancel Blink? Like, he's using the Warp Prism to micro, but he should be blinking.
He's got Blink, yeah.
He should be blinking. I don't know what he's doing, but this game is over. He can blink. If he can Warp Prism micro, he can do whatever he wants, but it's not going to win him this game.
There's just no way that herO's army can ever fight the army of Forte at this point.
Yeah.
It's going to be really hard unless he gets totally out of position. Also, I think some probes do survive. Let me see here.
4.
Yeah, there's actually 3 of them that are running away here that Forte actually did not catch. So.
He has only 300 minerals. So I guess it's silly to think he could actually win this game. He knows he's lost it. I think he's just frustrated. He can't never kill this Terran army, and he will never be able to kill these buildings. The CC is burning, which is a mistake, but it doesn't matter. Look at how many structures he has left. He has these pylons left. He needs to make another building. He doesn't. He's defeated.
GG. He actually did not GG out. He let all of his buildings die.
Like, whoa, what am I watching? Like, I've never seen a herO like this before, ever. This is actually like a diss that he didn't leave the game. Like, that's intense. What we just watched, and Forte takes his first win of the season and denies herO his 100th win. A huge upset. And this puts MVP Chickenmaro in good position to take this best of 5.
This was the match that nobody expected MVP to take, but now that they've taken it, just as you said, they are in a great spot. Forte finally, he does his job against a fantastic player, and the woes of herO continue.
This was really good play. This was... I'm like actually getting a little bit of chills because we talked about how many games herO just played on Thursday, 2 days ago. He had so much to study. He crafted a build for the map and just broke him apart. Used that Cyclone push, forced herO to make some mistakes. I feel like if his Liberator was in slightly better position there in the back of his base, herO would have had even more trouble dealing with this.
Yeah.
And I think this is going to be a build that we see a lot more often. Let me think about the map he did it on, too. On Frost, one of the toughest maps to do this on. If it was cross positions, that would have not worked as well. We might start seeing this build on maps like King's Sejong Station, other 2-player maps.
Yeah, and especially on a map like Frost where you can get up that ramp and, it's decently easy to get into that natural, to get into position. This is a really nice build, and Forte really proving his stuff here, taking that best of 1, and this is why Pro League is awesome, because you get best of 1s between some players who are quote-unquote not supposed to win, but then they take crazy wins with really cool, unique builds, and it's just really cool. That's a really nice keyboard, by the way, by herO. He's got like a nice rainbow keyboard going on there.
Yeah. Well, herO is not happy. Like, there's no way anyone is ever going to convince me that he thought he had a chance to win that game. He did not GG. He made Forte kill his last pylons.
He, couldn't get his probes to the assimilators fast enough, to the gases fast enough to build those assimilators, and he just lost. All of his buildings were dead. Yeah. He didn't even try to build a pylon or anything like that. He knew, he knew that was his last building, but he still...
It would have been even more... Like, the reason why people don't wait to kill buildings, it's actually sportsmanship. That's why you say GG and leave the game, you concede. And it would have even been, less sportsmanlike or less manner, as we say in Korea, to make pylons there. He knew that game was over, but he was really, really frustrated. And that's pretty unlike herO's. I have to put this monitor down.
I was going to say maybe we should just leave it up and be the cats in boxes again.
Yeah, well, maybe so. I'm just looking at this monitor. I'm like, oh, I look normal now, but a second ago I did not.
Yeah.
Oh, it's really cool to be on stage, though. I am so happy. This
Feeling
reminds me
the energy, right? You
Yeah.
can see all the crowd. It's really cool.
This reminds me of the first day I cast with you at Pro League.
Yeah.
We sat in this desk at this seat, and you know, things haven't changed too much since then. But Pro League is such a beautiful tournament. I'm so happy to be casting.
I mean,
with you.
we did do the preseason matches. Do you remember that, where there was actually like 2v2s
Yeah,
going
that's
on?
right. That
some
was- that
crazy
doesn't
stuff.
count. That
We were
doesn't
in the
count.
studio. Yeah, it doesn't really count. It wasn't the official first day, so.
Yeah, but that was wonky when we had like 2v2s on like
Yeah.
weird
Some crazy
maps.
maps, yeah.
I'm like, well, this isn't gonna work. It's gonna be
Yeah.
an all-in. Then like one player would not actually like stay with his teammate. I'm like, well, this isn't Brood War TVT. You can't do this. So
Yeah.
this is actually a great start for CJ here in this first match. My monitor turned off for a second. Hopefully, it's not happening at home for you guys.
And the next match is going to be MC versus Gumio, another PVT. We're going to see a lot of these actually today.
Yeah, Zerg is not doing too well. We will see a ZVZ later on, potentially.
Yeah.
Not even necessarily, but just with how things